I have to kind of agree with Councillor Brunton there that, okay, if this is staff's best foot forward to cut the $400,000, when does council get a shot? I'd like to see a report that breaks down a little bit more details of these two line items, materials and supplies, services, all of that. I know we were able to see somewhat into that before, digging in the weeds it's called, and well, we were banished from that this year, but I'd like to see somewhat of a report where we could maybe fine-tune some of these cuts, because I think there's some spots of fluff in certain spots that I'd rather see than these ones.
Would you propose a deferral to see further work done on this?
I would, Mr. Chair.
There you go.
With a report coming back that gave us a little bit of a better breakdown. I don't need the full blown out 57,000 page report, but something that would break it down in a little finer detail to give us some headers.
Councillor Brunton.
I'm going to support something along that lines. I just want to mention that I said 34.4 million because that's what was in two lines. And, you know, staff have gone outside that. They've indicated on a couple of other areas. I don't have a problem if they go through the whole $220 million. You know, we're trying to cut 0.5% to the benefit of the taxpayers. That's what the whole idea was. And if it takes a little more ingenuity from staff and maybe some input from council to look at some other options, I'm in favor of that. We owe it to the taxpayers. Either that or we tell them the taxes are going up another 0.5%. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask for a point of order.
Yes, sir.
We have a staff report. It was presented to it. It's question time. What are we doing in the middle of debate without a motion on the floor? Let's get a motion on the floor and let's allow everybody into the debate here.
Point well taken.
Yeah, I'd like debate.
Yep, you're
And I
right.
got lots that I can say here, but until there's a motion to debate,
Okay, we have a motion in the report on page 33. Do we have a mover? No, let's deal with the main motion first. Okay, deferral takes precedent. I'm sorry. We do have a motion for deferral. We're now speaking to the deferral. We need a second. Did you second it? No, you did not. I thought you did. Maybe not. We need a seconder for deferral. Councillor Wells.
Could I ask the deferral motion to be read or what the intent is?
I think the intent was to bring back more information and fine-tune some of these items on page 35.
Or it's hard to second if we don't know what the intent was.
Councillor Height has made the motion for deferral. Do we need a second? Geisens has seconded it. Now we can discuss it.
Deferring what? You have to have a motion on the floor first in order to defer that motion. You don't have that motion.
Through the chair, and my apologies if this hasn't been clarified, but my understanding is the motion on the floor is to have staff prepare a report to come back outlining the proposed adjustments.
That's the motion.
That's the motion.
What would you call it? It's not a deferral? It's a deferral. Deferral just...
Part of the confusion here is the motion to defer is a technical thing that simply, if you like football, it punts it down the field. It takes the existing report before you and just defers it some period of time. In and of itself, it's not debatable. This is not a motion to defer. I believe the mover has a very specific intent, and it's not to simply see the same report. A motion to defer would result in zero staff work. To be abundantly clear, we would do nothing because you already have a report with our best advice to you before you.
So then I'll have to ask the mover, what would be the point of a deferral if staff isn't going to do any more work on it?
It isn't, Mr. Chair. It is a motion for staff to come back with a more detailed report. So not in the terms of a deferral, but we do want it to come back.
Go ahead.
So it's appropriate to ask for some help or clarification. I can inform council that there are approximately 5,000 line items that go into making that $34 million. I don't think you seriously want us to go through 5,000 line items. This is what we talk about when we talk about getting in the weeds. With all due respect, I don't know how to go through 5,000 line items. I don't even think our treasurer has that capacity at that sort of level. If you'd like clarification on our suggestions, we can do that. If you'd like us to make different suggestions, I suppose we can do that. But understanding there are 5,000 items that go into the $34 million, that's why, as a practical matter, we can't get too far into the weeds on any one topic. The budget, as presented, was essentially a variation on the one from the year before, when you did spend 4 days getting into the weeds on those various items. This year, we did it in 2. There were opportunities to ask questions on any item, including these. We did answer to the best of our ability. Now, with the $400,000 cut, we've attempted to comply as best we could. We were 26,000 shy in these areas. May I suggest more guidance to us on this matter, because we can't really bring back a report that addresses 5,000 items.
Councillor Height.
As I mentioned before, Mr. Chair, I'm not looking for the 573,839 line items. I know very well how the FWM software works, and you can explode it with the little plus sign to the left of each item. 3 deep would be fine for me if you want real technical terms, because we can't seem to get access to it, where we were able to before in the budget meetings when we asked specific questions. I'm looking for 3 deep. Does that work? I'm looking for more details.
Point of
Period.
order, Mr. Chair. Are we having a debate when there's no motion on the floor? Are we just having a friendly chit-chat tonight?
I thought we had a motion for deferral.
Well, how can we defer something if we don't have a motion? I don't get it.
Go ahead, read it again.
Okay, through the chair, the motion that I have is moved by Councillor Height, seconded by Councillor Brunton, that report FS 1802, that's a staff report, or staff present a report to council outlining the proposed adjustments outlined in staff report FS 1802.
Did you not remove your name? Oh, Geisens did.
What
Okay.
was the motion to do? I don't know.
Could we have the motion read again?
Please?
Through the chair, that staff present a report to council outlining the proposed adjustments outlined in staff report FS 1802.
Mayor Luke.
Speaking to the motion, thank you.
Yes.
That's a legitimate motion. Motion deferral would not be debatable. So this is a legitimate, I'm not going to support this motion. You know, we had a budget session. We got through it. Staff's done their job. And now we want to go back and, as the expression is, get into the weeds? That's not my job. I'm not elected people to go through the weeds, item by item by item by item by item. We've done our budget session. Staff has followed our direction. They have $400,000 here for our consideration this evening. So why do we want to go back to January and start over and going through the weeds line by line? There's probably $1 million in wages and benefits sitting here. Those are the people responsible for the weeds, not the elected people that create policy. You want to go through the weeds, apply for one of these jobs or one of the jobs that these people oversee. What's next? Staff want to now make decisions on policy and do our job? We asked for $400,000 of reduction. They're in front of us. We got what we asked for, obviously. You know, I want to keep taxes down too, but I'll be darned if I'm going to start doing staff's job for them, Mr. Chair. And this motion is passed, that's exactly what this council will be doing. It's not our job, it's not my job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm going to call the question. Those in favor of Mr. Height's motion? 1, 2. Those opposed? That is defeated. Can we get back to the main motion in the report? Councillor Black.
Move a motion to receive the report as information.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? That we receive this report on page 33 as information. Councillor Wells,
Clarification, could I ask a question?
go ahead.
If we receive it as information, what exactly does that mean?
That we receive it as information and do nothing. Councillor Black, what's your intent?
Just to repeat, Councillor Wells, it would be in La La Land.
Okay. Do I have a seconder to receive it as information? I do not. That's dead. What do we do now? Councillor Brunton.
Well, I'll try this motion. That staff go back and review the entire budget for options in cutting $400,000. Period. Well, no, I mean, I'm giving them, I said originally from 34.4 million, I'm giving them the option now. They seem to like that idea to go outside of the 34.4. We got the whole budget there. Come back and give us some further options. I'm looking for a 0.5% cut. That's all I'm looking for. That's $400,000. Plain and simple.
So what you're saying is you don't like the items that staff has brought forward, or you want to look more and find some others?
I don't mind some of them, but I mean, do you want me to specify right now, or? I don't need to. I think the feline program, the museum, some of the ones Lee touched on, I can live with some of the ones Lee. I don't like the museum or the feline program, but maybe staff got better ideas, and that's all I'm asking. So let's give it to them again.
How be if we went through this list on page 35, one item at a time?
Hey, there's a good idea.
Councillor Black. Comment other than that?
I made a motion, Mr. Chairman.
That we go through these items one
No.
item at a time?
I made a motion to go back, send staff back to review the entire budget, to look at options further on the $400,000 cut. That's all I'm asking.
You've heard the motion. Do we have a seconder?
I guess that one didn't.
That's dead. Councillor Black.
Mr. Chairman, you're up there for a good reason, and I think that's good advice. If we're going to deal with this, let's break it down item by item and vote on each one.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. But first, we're going to take a break because I have 10 minutes after 6 and we've been at this for over 2 hours. Let's take a break for 15 minutes. I knew this was going to be a bad one. I knew this was going to be trouble.
On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just a place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, You'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love.
Okay. The gang's all here. Let's get started. We're back on the levy operating budget, final budget adjustments. That report begins on 33. The lines we're going to work on are on page 35, and we're going to deal with them one at a time. They are numbered 1 to 11, and what we're going to do is vote on to leave them in. And by leaving them in, that means we're going to cut them, okay? We're voting on a double negative here, kind of, so we're leaving it in to be cut. Got that? Let's start with number 1, snow plowing contracts, sanding and salting. Discussion. Those in favor of leaving it in? Yes, leaving it in, leaving it on this list, which means we're going to cut it.
If we rephrase that, those in favor of this cut.
Okay, those in favor. All right. Those opposed? That is carried. Item 2, fleet equipment fuel. Leave it in to be cut. Councillor Weld? Well, I'm asking for discussion. If there's no discussion, those in favor? That is carried. Boy, we're moving right along here. Item 3, fleet equipment snowflake GPS units. Leave it in to be cut. All those in favor? Okay. Yeah, after. Here we go. Feline control program, dealing with overpopulation of cats. Those in favor? Discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would like us, at the minimum, to cut that in half to 20,000. I don't know if you want my rationale now or how you're going to handle that, but I would like, because of the fact this has had a long history of involvement with the public, staff reports, and finally got implemented last year, I hate to see it just dropped like that. So even if we could leave half of that in to keep the program somewhat alive, I would feel more comfortable. However, that's my opinion. I don't know if there's any other support, so that's,
Okay. Counselor Black?
I think it's an important program that we've initiated, and I think you need to keep it going. I would like to see it cut. We've already really cut it from 50 to 40. I know it wasn't totally utilized, and that's unfortunate. But I would rather see it stay in, so I guess I can't support the cut, whether it's 40 or 20.
Counselor Brunton?
I think it's an important program. I'll vote to keep it in there. Or sorry, to eliminate it, I guess. I'm looking in reverse, right? Take it out, right? We want to keep it. I want to keep the program.
We're not going to cut it.
You're not going to cut it.
Right.
Okay.
We're doing it backwards, aren't we?
Well, the mayor has recommended half of that amount. We want to deal with that first? Is that,
no,
that
well, now we have a motion, yeah.
you want to make that a motion?
Yeah, I mean, the council's going to do what they do, and that's my opinion on it, that.
You
we all
will
gotta
second
give-
that?
Yeah.
Okay, the motion on the floor is to turn that 40,000 to 20,000. Discussion. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. So then it stays as is. The cut is 40,000.
No, we. Yeah. I want to leave it in there. I want to leave it.
You want to leave the budget number in.
I want to spend the 40 grand on the kitty cats. That's what I want to do.
He wants it to not be cut.
No cut. Okay, the motion for no cut on the 40.
Yeah, just remove 40,000.
Okay, the motion will be to remove this 40 grand.
So moved.
To remove the item, which means 40,000 is still in the budget.
That's correct.
Right.
I'll second it, yeah.
So Black has moved, Brunton has seconded, that this be removed from this line and that $40,000 stay in the feline budget program. Those in favor of that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, everybody. All right, that's dealt with. Item number 5, legal fees, $50,000. Discussion? Wells? See, we can't deal with the double negatives here, is it?
Just say, do they want the $50,000 removed from the budget?
So it's going to stay on the list. So this item is going to stay on the list. Okay? If that's the proposal. All those in favor? That is carried. Reduced POA court by 4 days, $6,500. Stay on the list. All those in favor? Paramedic services, $10,200. Stay on the list. Discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Fire maintenance repair supplies for 11 stations, $4,300. Stay on the list. Discussion? All those in favor? Harbor Marinas fuel and consulting, $15,000. Discussion? Councillor Height?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What is the consulting? What does that encompass?
Go ahead.
Through the chair to Councillor Height. I don't have the exact details, but that would be a consulting service. I'd have to get hold of staff to see exactly what the reduction was. I know we have consulting services for a number, or not a number, but a few items there, and staff had felt that 2,000 of that could be cut this year to make the 400,000.
Okay.
All right. Stay on the list. All those in favor? That is carried. Parks and Rec, maintenance, repair, supplies, $40,500. Discussion, Councillor Black.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, through you to Bill. What's the significance of this? And maybe you explained it before, but what are you cutting, and how will it affect operations?
Through the chair to Councillor Black. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have the details of each line item. That was done before. I think what staff have done, they've went through their budget. It was a manager's job to do that. They looked at historically what they had spent. As in Parks and Rec, we're kind of like Lee Robinson's winter control. If we have, a dry season, we spend more money in such thing a wet season. But staff have come up with this number on items that they feel they can remove from the budget this time around.
Okay, I appreciate that, Bill.
Okay, Parks and Rec, maintenance. Stay on the list. All those in favor? That is carried. Last item, Eva Brooke Donnelly Museum Archivist to April, $24,000. Councillor Black?
Well, I've actually spoken to Eva Brooke Donnelly, and I don't think this is going to be a hardship, so I think it's an easy one to cut. They're not going to be able to hire the staff by April anyway, so I think it's a fairly easy one.
Okay. All right. To stay on the list. All those in favor? All right, we've dealt with that quite quickly. Thank you. I think our deputy clerk now has a motion. Or not, yeah, motion. To be read.
Through the chair, so just kind of combining everything that was just decided on, we'll need a mover and a seconder for this, that the following items be removed from the 2018 levy operating budget. Snow plowing contracts, sanding and salting for $144,500. Fleet equipment fuel for $40,000. Fleet equipment snowflake GPS units for $25,000. Legal fees for $50,000, reduced POA court by 4 days, $6,500, paramedic services, $10,200, fire maintenance and repair supplies for 11 stations, $4,300, harbor marinas fuel and consulting, $15,000, parks and recreation maintenance and repair supplies, $40,500, and Eva Brooke Donnelly Museum Archivist to April, $24,000.
Could we have a mover? Mayor Luke. A seconder. Councillor Brunton. All those in, further discussion on the motion? Councillor Height.
Mr. Chair, so out of our 400K, we're short $40,000. Were those cuts be coming forward?
May I strongly suggest you vote on this, and then we address with that issue, so we have a clean motion from council?
Yep.
Good call with
Okay.
tonight.
Who was the mover and seconder, sorry? Luke and Brunton. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, Councillor Height. You had something?
Mr. Chair, we still need $400,000 to cut.
40.
I was going for the extra large number. Okay, make that 40K. So how are we going to do that? Are we just going to let staff come back or go back and find that $40,000 and be done with it?
I guess that's up to council to give that direction.
Isn't the tax bill already set with this rate in it?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Height. You are correct. The tax levy that we're basing our taxes on included a $400,000 cut. Having said that, establishing a budget at its core is a plan for the year, and nothing ever goes according to plan, it seems. And we always have budget variances towards the end of the year, and that variance is funded through the contingency reserve. So one of the options I think council should consider is that 40,000, staff would try to absorb that within its existing budget, either through gapping or other means. And if not, that 40,000 would be funded through the contingency reserve once we establish our 2018 year end.
You need a motion for that?
Yeah, I would think so, yes.
Okay, I'll move that.
Seconder? Geisens? You want to read that? So everybody's clear on it?
Sorry, can I just have the treasurer reread?
Restate.
Perhaps the easiest thing to do is to have a motion where the feline program is funded from the contingency reserve, and then you will get your 400,000.
Okay.
No.
No.
No. There's funding it from a reserve account. That bypasses this whole thing. That's not my motion that I'm putting forward. Right?
Restate your motion.
Well, we need to find $40,000 worth of cuts. Not bypassing it over to add that in there. All right, so you have to find it through either the contingency reserve fund, well, preferred cuts to operating is the preferred solution. Failing that, the contingency reserve.
Further discussion. Councillor Brunton? No? I thought you had your hand up.
It doesn't make sense to me. You're saying we want a $40,000 cut, but if you take it out of the contingency, it doesn't really come off. I guess we don't use the tax levy to do it, but we really use the word fogging the issue, or no? Are we not?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Brunton. If we, the original intent with the 40,000 is to try to save the 40,000 through other means, either through gapping or savings in other areas, and the general managers would try to do that within their respective budgets without having to come back to council. Failing that, if we have a bad year where we can't find anything, then that 40,000 item, we would spend it on the feline program, and then that would be a budget variance. And then at the end of the year, through legislation, any budget variances, that's a deficit situation, we'd have to fund from the contingency reserve. So it's just an ends to a means. It's a different way of getting there.
I get you. Thank you.
I'm not sure where we are here. Do we have a formal motion from Height?
Through the chair, my understanding, and I just looking for clarification, so Councillor Height and Councillor Brunton as the mover and seconder, you're looking for staff to be directed to find $40,000 in reductions from the 2018 levy operating budget. Failing that, staff be directed to go to the contingency reserve fund. Is that what I'm understanding?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the Deputy Clerk. The motion, if I can suggest the motion to read that the $40,000 be found through gapping in other existing budget items.
Okay. Why don't you just stop right there?
And stop right there.
Is that okay, Councillor Height?
Works for me.
Okay. Councillor Brunton? Okay. All those in favor? Done. We're out of that report. Thank goodness. Let's go to page 41. Purchase of Port Dover beach maintenance equipment, a surf rake. Who's got this? Bill?
Through the chair to county council. Report CS 18-7, purchase of Port Dover beach maintenance equipment, Barber Surf Rake 400 HD is presented to council today. This report is asking for an exemption to the purchasing bylaw. The region staff are asking council for a single source item, and this being the Barber Surf Rake Model 400. As the report explains, Port Dover Beach is experiencing growth in the numbers of users each year. With this growth comes a need for increased maintenance. Staff received several negative emails and phone calls last year. Staff would also, I think Councillor Wells will remember, we'd met at least once with Councillor Wells on the beach dealing with local business folks and the maintenance of the beach. So staff had give it some thought on what's the best way to increase the maintenance on the beach. As a result, staff are recommending the purchase of the barber rake. This unit is capable of increasing the aesthetics of the beach as well as lowering the cost. This item was approved in the 2018 capital budget. However, staff need council approval for the single source. There are at least 2 suppliers in Canada that we know of, and so the rake it still will be tendered out to get the lowest possible price. I have 2 very quick videos. I'll show. I don't believe there's any sound, but I don't think the sound are needed, and then I'll turn it over to county council for any questions they have. Mr. Baird, please. The first video here is just showing the capability of picking up the small items such as cigarette butts. And the second video is the ability to pick up seaweed and larger debris.
Just while we're watching this, I just shuddered when I read this report. This thing picks up syringes. You know, our kids are walking this beach with syringes in the sand. What have we come to?
That is it, Mr. Baird. I'm not sure if there were a few more popping up, but those were the 2 I wanted to show.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brunton.
And just very quickly through you, Mr. Chairman, to Bill, what's that run on a PTO, Bill, or?
Through the chair, I believe it's hydraulic line, which would ultimately run on a PTO, but it's not like a back PTO shaft, it's hydraulics.
So you got a tractor to run that with then, eh?
That is correct.
Okay, and I see in your report, excuse me, it says you saved $12,000 this year, maybe in beach cleanup? So
Through the chair to Councillor Breton. Yeah, it's obviously a rough estimate, and what staff are looking at, how we arrived at that number. The beach maintenance is, depending on the year, the amount of debris that blows in, we spend over $40,000 a year, and we figure the rake, we probably can limit our raking to 4 or 5 days a week, leaving 2 to 3 days a week, which we're not actually on the beach. The other big savings with this barber rake is the sand, the videos didn't show, actually fall back onto the beach, and the way we do it now, at times when picking up seaweed, we have to pick the seaweed up with a loader, and obviously you're going to get some sand, so we're actually taking sand to the landfill and paying for landfilling of sand, which there'll be a cost savings there. So yeah, we're predicting hopefully about a quarter savings per year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wells.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Cridlin for bringing this report forward. And he certainly is correct. Last year, the beach maintenance program left quite a lot to be desired according to the residents who were using it. So I thank him for that. And my question is pretty simple. Is there money in the budget for this piece of equipment?
Through the chair to Councillor Wells, yes. Staff had asked for the $65,000 and it was approved, and there is money there.
If that is the case, I would like to move the recommendation.
Thank you.